Hello everyone. Before we get started, I feel it's only right to put out this disclaimer. Some of what I'm about to say is complete speculation and conjecture, but even though there are some elements of this video that are based on hunches, I'll do my best to back it up with information that you can research and verify for yourself and determine what is what. My name is Wayne, artist, mystic, and creator of the Global Fusion Intuitive Tarot, published by US Games Systems Inc., and you are tuned in to Rodney Illustrations Global Fusion Dream Fuel. I made this video in response to Bell Wen, who is a content creator in the metaphysical community who I follow for insightful information into Taoist practices. So anyway, thank you for joining me, boil some ginger tea, consider this food for thought, and let's go. Today we're talking about the very contentious topic of the algorithms that are employed in technology and social media, in marketing, etc., and the highly controversial role of AI, artificial intelligence. Even though there are different algorithms and forms of AI, for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to refer to them in singular to represent them as a collective, i.e. the algorithm and AI. One accepted definition of the word algorithm is a process or set of rules to be followed in calculations or other problem-solving operations, especially by a computer. The historical Persian polymath al-Khwarizm, who lived during the Islamic Golden Age, is considered to be the father of algebra after publishing a unique treatise on the subject. His name has been said to have been used as the basis for the word algorithm. Here's where the speculation begins. For me, that's a little too convenient. It seems like a very neatly packaged story, wrapped up in the dusty parchments of history and presented to us as fact. And it is something so seemingly inconsequential, nobody really gives it much scrutiny. Now, with that being said, take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt and do your own research. The Islamic Golden Age, for those who don't know, was a period of enlightenment in the Islamic world that took place from approximately the 8th to the 13th century in the Common Era, preceding the Italian Renaissance, which was influenced by it. Some people consider the era of the Islamic Golden Age to be a bridge preserving the knowledge of antiquity, referring to ancient Rome, ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, and in this case, ancient Sumer, Babylon, and Persia, specifically because of their studies and contributions to the field of astrology/astronomy, before these ideas would once again generate interest and flourish in the West, where people like Agrippa would incorporate the study of the stars into his magical workings. The ancient Persian Empire encompassed swaths of land from what is modern-day Libya and Egypt in the west to parts of China and Pakistan in the east, stretching all the way to the North Caucasus. Ancient Babylonian and Persian astronomy used a form of algorithms to study the stars. They believed that the stars caused omens and that these omens were preventable. Now, when most people think of astrology, they're going to think of the 12 signs of the Western zodiac and the procession of the equinoxes, etc. But Agrippa was interested in the fixed stars, 15 of them being of great significance, and these were known as the Behenian stars. You're probably already familiar with some of the more famous ones like the Pleiades, Sirius, and Polaris, the North Star, most of which are said to have beneficial attributes. But some of these stars are said to have dangerous or unlucky attributes, and people are cautioned about calling upon them. One of them, from the constellation of Perseus, was once especially feared. This one was given the nickname of the Demon Star or the Gorgon Head. This unfavorable association is consistent across a variety of cultures that studied this particular star. Its physical characteristics are the most intriguing concerning these correspondences. The star was thought to be a binary one until it was discovered to be a ternary system. This is relevant because computer code uses binary, zeros and ones to transmit data, whereas there's also a ternary code that uses zeros, ones, and twos that is not as common but is beneficial in creating certain algorithms. This leads me to ask the question, is ternary code used in machine learning, artificial intelligence, and the various algorithms? The star that I'm referring to is Algol, which was feared across the ancient world. Likewise, with the algorithm and with AI, there is indeed a sense of dread within certain camps, with the threat of displacement in the marketplace due to advancements in machine learning, and the disruptive force of which technology has radically transformed the arena of commerce and has called into question the relevance of a variety of professions. It is easy to understand why both the algorithm and the star have an aura of fear surrounding it. What does this mean? If we look at history, we can see different examples of how the introduction of technology changed the dynamics of society. The invention of the printing press and how that impacted traditional book creation and who had access to books. We can look at the dawn of the industrial age and the proliferation of factories and how it affected the various trades and farmers. The invention of the camera and how that impacted portrait painters and landscape artists, the art world in general. The invention of firearms and how that influenced and impacted modern and traditional warfare. The atomic age, and how that changed the power dynamics on the world's stage. With all these examples, we can see the good, the bad, and the ugly. The question of how AI and the algorithm will impact the world in the months and years ahead remains to be answered. I remember when I was a rideshare driver back in 2019, a lot of people were concerned about how self-driving cars were going to take over the marketplace. Now, it might not be obvious because of the speed of how technology is being integrated, but the profession of rideshare was already in and of itself, by its very existence, disruptive to the pre-existing transportation economy, specifically to taxi operators. Automation was something that was not just going to impact the rideshare economy though. I talked to truck drivers in the shipping industry and it was the same concern that they were having about automated trucks displacing workers there. Then the pandemic hit and that kind of changed the dynamic in many cases. In some cases, things became even more automated. But that's a story for another time, right? Well anyway, back in 2019 when I was doing rideshare, during the spring of that year, I got hit pretty bad by seasonal allergies and took some time off to recover. I had just started watching the series Breaking Bad because I didn't see it when it originally aired and decided to give it a chance. I soon realized what all the hype was about and moved on to Better Call Saul. I rationalized to myself that doing all of this binge watching was partially my attempt at getting to understand and assimilate pop culture by giving myself an expanded database of material to draw from when interacting with the new, many and varied individuals whom I'd encounter on a daily basis due to my day job. So yeah, I was one of those conversational drivers. Well, it just so happens that when I was well enough to resume work, immediately the first person that I encounter is watching Better Call Saul on his smartphone, thus prompting me to initiate a conversation with him. As it turns out, he too had been watching the show after seeing Breaking Bad for the first time, and his decision to watch it in the first place came as a result of a desire to apprise himself of popular culture reference points. Mere coincidence, perhaps. But let's move on to the second incident. When driving, I typically listen to either classical music, jazz, or new age music because it's soothing, prevents road rage, and is great ambient conversation music. Nevertheless, on this particular day, I was moved by the spirit of the algorithm to embrace my Jamaicanness and carry a reggae CD. I'd been curious about how people would react to hearing reggae playing. I put it in my glove box just in case I felt inspired to play it later, and at some point, I found myself at the airport, and the person that I'm picking up turned out to be a lady using a pseudonym, Supercat. Like the dancehall icon Supercat, what are the odds? So she and I got to talking and we discover, surprise, surprise, that she's a huge reggae fan and wonders if I have any reggae in the car, because that would be a totally cool experience. Totally. What are the odds though? That on the same day that I decide to carry reggae with me, reggae is requested. My third instance that I'll share is this. After a long day on the road, I'm starting to miss my family. I'm thinking about them a whole lot, and they give me a call. But that's not the weird part. I'm almost at my personal quota for the day. I figure just a couple more rides will do the trick before I feel good about going home. Well, the very next person that I pick up has my son's first name. Fine, no big deal. But the very next person that I pick up has my daughter's first name right down to the unique spelling. I can take a hint and head straight home. Has anyone else had any peculiar happenings? What are your experiences with the algorithm? Drop a comment and let me know what your thoughts are. Thank you for joining with me today. Remember to like and subscribe. Links to everything are in the description. Peace.